Hello!
Time for another dip into the pool of possibly the worst action figure ever released, this time from a value point of view, although it's conceptually very shite as well, so it's a bit of a twofer, really. But before we begin, I will have a dishonourable mention. I nearly said honourable mention, but I think dishonourable mention is a better one. A bit of a runner-up, if you will. There was a series made of Rocky action figures a few years ago, based on the various iterations of the sports punching man, played by Sylvester Stallone, various Rocky characters and things throughout the various films that have been released. One of them was of that big hunk of beef hanging up that he punches. Seriously. So, I mean, it's kind of loses off on a technicality because it's really just a sort of, you know, accessory for a diorama that they've packaged up as an action figure. But it was pretty disheartening to just see a lump of beef on the shelves of the action figure stores. Anyway, this one beats it out, and you shall see why shortly. It's Doctor Who time! Remember when the Doctor looked like this? Well, stop doing drugs, because this is another character entirely. This is Lady Cassandra, who I believe in the episode where she appeared was the last human left alive. Or the last purebred human, or something along those lines. And as you can see, she's been quite keen on the plastic surgery over the years to keep her alive, and now is literally just a brain in a jar, connected to a taut, stretched piece of skin with a face on. There she is, looking all creepy. That's a funny little idea, and a bit of a play on, you know, constant facelifts and keeping yourself young with surgery and all that. Fair enough. And round the back of it, actually, point out, you can see the lumps where the eyeballs back go, and there's sort of a weird hole for the mouth, which freaks me out a bit. But anyway, that's not relevant. It's not exactly the greatest figure. Again, from a value point of view, it's very sort of flimsy and small and all that kind of thing. But it does have wheels. That was fun, wasn't it? But in order to make the value up, they gave you 5 space spider things, which she, like, released around a space station to blow it up so she'd get some money for more surgery or something. I can't actually remember. That may be wrong. But anyway, these things are kind of 4-legged robot things that do sabotage and that. And you get a little group of them so, you know, you don't feel ripped off that you've just bought a very, very thin piece of plastic. Well, don't worry, because it got much worse. And basically, the character dies in the episode. Well, doesn't die, she comes back, thinking about it, but is destroyed in the episode, so to speak. She has to be constantly moisturised by attendants. If not, she dries out. And in the end, she goes somewhere hot and there's no attendants, and indeed, the skin does dry out and she kind of explodes. Well, I suppose she survives, because the brain is still in the jar, isn't it? And appears in a later episode. But anyway, when we all saw her explode, we all knew what to get the kids for Christmas. Presenting... And yes, this is real. I haven't made this up and faked it or something. Doctor Who, Series 2, Destroyed Cassandra. It is literally the frame of the other figure with some goo painted on. And they've removed the top of the brain jar and just left kind of the electrodes going in. And that's your lot, for exactly the same amount of money as any of the other figures in this range, which were quite expensive. It's literally a fucking dirty frame. Thanks, guys. And it doesn't even come with the bloody space spiders or anything. It is just that. I mean, for the same money, you could have had Rose Tyler with ice extinguisher, if you're a big fan of Billy Piper. You'd have had an Ood with a glow-in-the-dark eyes and translation orb. You could have had the 10th Doctor in spacesuit, or you could have had Toby Z unpossessed, which is, yeah, a pretty neutral figure, I think you could say. Anyway, thanks Character Options Limited. No wonder they went with other people for the figures a few years down the line. Absolutely astonishing. I don't think I've ever seen anything that's so blatantly a rip-off in just for completionists, because no kid is going to want it, are they? Nobody wants, oh, can I have the corpse of that skin woman? That'd be brilliant. Cheers, mum. And nobody really wants to display something this ugly, I wouldn't have thought. And nobody really wants to pay money for this. It's purely for completionists. Oh, you bastards. You absolute bastards. But anyway, it's a thing that actually exists and kind of sickens me a little bit. It did get slightly better, though. They did re-release it with an actual entire figure. So basically, this was a freebie accessory that came with another figure. An attendant she had in the second episode called Chip, I believe, who was like a clone guy dressed like a fast food worker who had really weird sort of tattooy patterns on his skin. Yeah, which is more like it. because, you know, this is just some free bit of shit you would get with a figure, not a figure itself, which I still find absolutely astonishing. Well, thanks, guys, for making that exist and ruining all our lives a little bit. Actually, thinking about it, they re-released this one as well with Chip. So maybe this is her when she was destroyed in the second episode. I can't remember much of the second episode she was in. I remember it being a bit shit, and there's all sort of mind swap things going on. It just wasn't very good, really. Yeah, so, you know, they decided that this was an accessory as well. I mean, at least this, you know, has a face and a thing in there. Do you know what? I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. Sit up there, Cassandra. Cassandra, incidentally, was the... I'm trying to think which mythology. Greek or... Roman. Greek, I think. The Greek character who was given power by the gods to accurately predict future events. But unfortunately it was actually a curse, because the other part of it was nobody would ever believe her. So she went around correctly predicting future events. Nobody believed her, no matter how many times she was right. Imagine her YouTube channel. My God, if she'd lived then. Anyway, let's make this a little bit less negative. I'm going to open a Kinder Egg, what I got the other day. I've already eaten the chocolate. I really hope this isn't shit as well. Imagine if it's a tiny version of that. It's a buzzing bee that you don't have to build. That's weird. What's the deal here, guys? Oh, I see. It's a sort of swans reflecting elephants thing. So it's like a bee from that direction. But turn him over and it's an upside down bee. That's absolutely amazing. What's supposed to be like a caterpillar or something? That doesn't really work, does it? All the others are good as well. Look, there's a donkey that reflects into like a chicken thing. Although the jowls on the chicken are a bit of a worry. Bird to fish actually works quite well. And the rabbit to the monkey, quite interesting. Oh, why did I get the poo one? Oh. Well, it's better than that fucking thing. Just realised that Cassandra reminds me of this hideous coin-eating bank thing that I reviewed years ago. I don't know why I still have it in the house. It doesn't even work anymore.
Subscribe for more.